In this video, we're going to look at how to set up equation to solve a word problem. Here's example. The width of a rectangular parking lot is 8 feet less than 3/5 of the length. The perimeter of the lot is 400 feet. Find the length and width of the lot. Using an equation to solve a word problem usually has 3 steps. Step 1. Declare the variables or the unknowns. So when we read the question, we know that we have to find the length and the width. So these are our unknowns. There are 2 of them. So let's mark them here, length and width. The second step is to set up an equation. And third step is to solve the equation to find the unknowns. So let's take a look at the problem we're talking about. Because the parking lot is a rectangular shape, so that tells us it's a rectangle. So we can draw a rectangle here to help us understand the problem. So in this rectangle, we know a rectangle always has a length and width. And the other concept involved is the perimeter. And the perimeter means the distance around the shape. So in this case, the perimeter will be equal to, so if we go around this rectangle, we're going to have to go length, and then width, and then length again, and then width again. Because in a rectangle, the 2 lengths, 2 opposite sides are equal. So we have 2 equal lengths and 2 equal widths. That tells us the perimeter equals 2 lengths, which means 2 times 1 length, that's 2 lengths, plus 2 widths, as you can see from the picture. So there's a 1 length here, 1 length here, that's 2 lengths, and 1 width here, 1 width here, that's 2 widths. Okay, so the next thing is we have to plug in numbers or variables to simplify the writing. And in algebra equations, we don't like to use words, we like to use alphabetic letter. So first of all, we can see that the perimeter is 400, so which says very clearly here in the problem. So that tells us the perimeter, I can just plug in with the 400, and equals 2 lengths times the length. So here's the question. What letter should I use for the length? And also, what letter should I use for the width? Since they are unknowns, they won't be given in the problem. So that's what we have to do next. So go back to look at the problem. There's a sentence. The first sentence involves the length and width. It says the width of this parking lot is 8 feet less than 3/5 of the length. So we can use equations to rewrite this. The width, translate that. All this doesn't need to be translated. Is means equal sign. 8 feet less than what? Less than 3/5 of the length. So first we write down 3/5 of the length. 3/5 of the length. Of means times. 8 feet less than means subtract 8. Because 8, it's taking away 8 feet from 3/5 of the length. So now we got this equation. So if I move this closer to the equation here, so we got width equals 3/5 length minus 8. So this is what we're going to do. Here, whenever I see the word width, I'm going to replace it with this whole thing here, this whole expression here, 3/5. So let's go and do that. So in this equation, we have 2 lengths plus 2 times width. What's the width? The width says it's 3/5 length minus 8. So I'm going to plug in for this width right here. So 3/5 length minus 8. Okay, so now we got this equation with everything plugged in except there's a English word length here. So we can simplify this a little further. Again, we don't like to use English words. We just want to use the letters. So let's use the letter L to represent the English word length. The first letter. You can use X or Y, anything you like. And 2 times, in the parentheses, notice that we have 3/5 the length. Again, when you see the word length, we use the letter L. Minus 8 and parentheses. So here we finish the second step, which is the equation. The last step is to solve this equation. Before we solve the equation, I want to say a few words here. So notice that after we write down the formula, perimeter equals 2 lengths plus 2 widths. There is a number for perimeter, 400, we can plug in. But because both length and width are unknowns, we can't find numbers to plug in. And we don't really want to use two variables like x and y for them. Because I said I want to use one variable to solve this equation. It is possible to solve this equation, solve the problem using two variables, but we want to just use one variable. So in order to do that, I go back to the problem. I translated the first sentence into an equation. So the width is width, is the equal sign. 3/5 of the length means 3/5 times. Again, of is like multiplication times. So I got 3/5 times length. 8 feet less than this whole thing. So I subtract 8 from the whole thing. So after I got this equation, I went ahead and replaced the English word width with that expression, 3/5 times length minus 8, because they are equal. So we can go ahead and replace with, did a substitution here. And after we do the substitution, we can see in the problem, in the equation we have, there's only one English word left, which is the length. So because we plugged in 400 for perimeter, and we replaced the English word width with the expression in terms of length. So now the only thing left is to replace the English word length with a letter L or X. All right, so this is how we set up the equation. The last thing we want to do is step 3 is to solve this equation. So we can, first, we see a pair of parentheses here. So let's just distribute the 2 to what's inside the parentheses. So we got our 400 equals 2L plus 2 times 3/5. Multiply straight across. So this 2 is like 2 over 1. Multiply straight across, top times top, 2 times 3 is 6. Bottom times bottom, 1 times 5 is 5. And there's L. Now minus 2 over 1 times 8, which is 16. 2 times 8, 8 is 16. And there's a minus sign. And next we can, because we have another fraction here, so we can get rid of this fraction by multiplying 5 both sides. The other way is to go ahead and combine 2L and 6/5 L if you know how to do that. If not, you can multiply both sides by 5. So multiply every term by 5, and by 5. So now we get 5 times 400. That gives us a 2000 equals 10L. 5 times 2 is 10. And this 5 means 5 over 1, which can be reduced with the bottom 5. So now we got a plus 6L minus 16 times 5. That gives us 80. And now we can combine like terms on the right side. So we got 2000 equals 16L, because 10L plus 6L, that gives us 16L, minus 80. Now we add 80 both sides. Or you can say you move 80 to the left-hand side, changing the sign. So we got 2080 equals 16L. The last step is to divide both sides by 16. So we can get rid of that 16 and we can get L by itself. And now we found out 2080 divided by 16. That gives us 130. So now we found the answer for the length. Notice L. I picked L for the English word length. So now we can go back to look at the phrase that I had right up here, because this length L here is exactly 130. So I can replace length with 130 here and simplify this to get what width is. So we can reduce 5 and 130. That gives us 26. And multiply 26 and 3. We got 78 minus 8. That is 70. And that is the answer for the width. Because width equals 3/5 times length, and length is 130. So we plug in 130. After we multiply 3/5 and 130, we got 26 and we got 78, and 78 minus 8, that's 70. So in this way, we found out the length is 130 and the width is 70.